Welcome to the first of Gen Talk. My name is Jennifer. This is a deep subject and one that's a little tough to hear. So if you are the victim of violent and sexual assault, please, if you can listen to my story, but I completely understand if you can't watch this, because it does go into a little bit of detail on what happened to me when I was young. First thing I have to say, babies do not belong having babies. Okay? I will firmly stand on that the rest of my life, and it will never change. I was 11 years old when I was violently attacked from behind while on my bicycle riding to a friend's house. I wasn't wearing anything that would have triggered or asked for an attack. I was just an 11-year-old kid going to their friend's house, riding a bike. He ran up behind me, grabbed my neck from behind, pulled me off that bicycle, which injured me in a minor way. But he proceeded to grab my breasts, try to reach down my pants, and all the time talking about how he wanted to take me down the hill to play. Well, this girl knew what playing meant, and I wasn't going to let that happen. I dug in the ground, dug in the dirt, bit, scratched, kicked the absolute crap out of this man. Every move he made, I had an elbow, a tooth, a fist, or my heel in succession, while three other limbs were grabbing the ground for all my worth. The guy was at least 300 pounds at the time. Trying to kiss me, which prompted me to bite viciously, scratch, whatever it took. Yes, I was terrified, of course I was. But all I could think of going through my mind was the mantra, don't get away from the road. Don't let him take you away from the road, because it's a busy street. Anybody knows in my hometown, the street goes over a highway overpass, and not only were there people on the highway, but there were also people that would come over the road quite often over that bridge. So I thought, just keep him there, keep the whole thing there so that people know what's going on, because in my mind, I knew that going down that hill was likely to result in me not making it out of that hill, not making it out of that little grove that's down there. Everyone in town knows that's the place where all the drugs are done, all the bad stuff happens. It's still that way today. It's where kids go to party. And that's where he wanted to take me. After, I don't know how long, I really don't know, my mind was completely blank to time. It felt like it could have been a lifetime or it could have been 5 minutes. I really don't know. Either way, he knew at this point it was getting dangerous for him to stand there and hold me captive any longer. I wasn't going to let anything happen. I was probably likely to hurt him if he tried to rape me. So no, he didn't, but to say that he would release me, he pulled out that thing and said if I kissed it, he would let me go. You know, not a chance. Not a chance would I go. I wouldn't let him anywhere near me again. And I kept taunting him with someone is going to come, someone's going to see what you're doing, someone's going to see you. What are you going to do then when you're caught? All I could think of, stay by that road. Don't let him do this. He did finally release me. Of course, threatened to kill me if I ever told anyone, which that lasted 5 minutes. It was the first thing I did was show up at my friend's house crying. And they asked me what was wrong. I told them very clearly what had happened. They wanted to call my mom, and I didn't let them call her until I settled down later when I thought about it and said, yeah, I better tell what's going on and what happened to me. fast forward to the police telling my parents, oh, yeah, the majority of these cases, the kids are making it up. They have a fantasy in their... Didn't bother to look at my nails. Didn't bother to look at my legs to see the scratches and the wounds on them. On the palms of my hands, underneath my nails was tons of dirt and probably skin. But this was early. This was back in the 80s when that kind of thing was just, let's just hush this whole thing, not say anything. So I felt completely humiliated by trying to report what had happened. Fast forward a few days and we thought we had a person. And it bugs me to this day that a name was involved because it was absolutely not that person. And that was totally unfair. I didn't like it. I didn't like the person being named. I didn't like anyone trying to say that was that person because I knew it wasn't. They looked like him a little bit, but they weren't him. So I never did. I wouldn't let him go after that because of that name, because it wasn't right. I didn't know who it was. Honestly, I don't know the name now. What I do know is that when I was almost 50, it was just a couple years ago, that face was staring back at me in a courtroom, from a courtroom picture. Serial attacker. At least 26 kids after me. Long after the date of when this happened to me. Burns my mind to think that because of that police dismissal, they never tried to look for this person. And after my attack, he went on to actively rape others. It just... So on a different subject, I want to say this. Now that you know what happened to me when I was 11, imagine those 11-year-olds who are forced to marry. Babies do not belong having babies. Ever. For any reason. So if you got it in mind to let your 11-year-old, your 15-year-old, your 16-year-old marry some man and be forced against her will to have sex, you belong in jail. Along with the person who's willing to do that to a young child. We need to create laws that protect kids for real, and never, ever should a child be forced into marriage. That's my TED Talk or Gen Talk for the day. Have a good rest of your weekend. Let's get it done. Protect these kids. Babies don't belong having babies. Have a great day.